high schools. If it's the sport you care about, we're talking about it. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Hello. How are you? How you be? Happy Friday. Wait just a minute. If we're gonna do this, we gotta do this right. We cannot be lazy in welcoming you in to another show. I gotta find it. Wait, hold on. I'll find it, I swear. By the way, I'm Ajay Salveson. Eric France will be joining me here shortly, here on the Full Court Press. A lot to get to. NBA Finals recap as the basketball season has officially came to an end. We'll also get to your U.S. Open update. We'll also talk preview of a College World Series, which starts tomorrow morning, actually. So we'll get into that and more. But first and foremost, before we even get into anything else, we must first introduce...
I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey and Wednesday too. Thursday, I don't care about you.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
Friday is forever, we belong together, so come on, and don't you say never.
It's Friday night, now we do some tabletops, now we take too many shots, think we kissed but I forgot. It's Friday night, now we waste your credit cards, and get kicked out of the bar, so we hit the boulevard. It's Friday night, do it all again.
There we go. That's better.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know.
You know, my talents are being put into use by myself, but you yet continue to reject my great work. I'm just wondering when you're going to actually let your ego down and allow me to be, have a significant contribution to the show.
Ajay, you always have a significant contribution to this show.
Oh, don't turn on the lights. Oh, jeez, that hurts. Yes. Ow.
Can't sit in the dark forever.
Well, it depends.
Come out to the light.
Eric, hi. Happy Friday.
I am happy it's Friday. Yes.
We all are happy it's Friday. It is NBA post celebration, unless you're a Warriors fan. I guess you're selling 47 great years in Oracle Arena.
Kind of a somber day if you're in Oakland. Your team did not win the championship. Your stars got hurt. Your arena is shutting down. Kind of a depressing day if you're living in Oakland.
114-110 is your final. 4-2. Toronto Raptors take care of the Golden State Warriors in a game. Look, I've seen a lot of NBA final games in my life. That might be one of the best games I've ever seen. There was some great basketball going on. I'd put the Game 7 of the 2016 finals up there. I'd put Game 6 of the 98 finals up there. I'd put San Antonio-Detroit Game 7 and 05 up there. I mean, I've seen a lot of great basketball. Some of the shots that some of these guys were hitting and some of the plays defensively that these teams were making were the blocks at the rim were just awesome.
Well, I mean, what an emotional game. I mean, you know that Kevin Durant is not going to be available. You have the news that he's blown his Achilles. He's going to be spending a long time recuperating from that. You've already tried to come back. I mean, Klay Thompson was having a great game, probably arguably the best game of these finals until he got hurt. And you lose him. And Steve Kerr making comments that, look, yeah, he looked hurt. He went into the tunnel. They told him if he leaves for good, he can't come back to the game. So he came back out of the tunnel to shoot those free throws. That's kind of dramatic. Oh my gosh, he's coming back.
Yeah, it wasn't Paul Pierce who needed to go to the restroom. This was Klay Thompson. He tore his...
And apparently he tells Coach Kerr on his way back out, like, look, just give me a few minutes, I'll be back.
And his dad asked him in the locker room, did you hear anything pop? No. Asked him a second time, and he said, no, I didn't. But we find out this morning, it's a torn ACL. He tears it. You know, when I think about the beginning of this game, when you talked about somebody who you felt like needed to show up, and my gosh, did he ever show up.
Feeds it to Lowry near half court. They'll reset with 7 to shoot. Lowry, right-hand dribble, crosses to the left, pulls the trigger on a 3, and hits again. Kyle Lowry, a 4-for-4 start. He's got all the Raptors' 11 points. Van Vliet, left corner, 1:40 to go in the first. To Leonard up high against the smaller Cook. Passes in the corner. Lowry gets off a 3 and hits again. What a first for Kyle Lowry. He's got 15.
Kyle Lowry scored the game's first 8 points of the night. I mean, this guy couldn't miss, and he was hitting some pretty darn tough shots. Finished with 26 in the game with 10 assists and 7 rebounds. Nearly had a triple-double in this game, Eric.
Kyle Lowry was fantastic.
Oh, he was awesome.
The mentality of the Toronto Raptors, and a lot of people today, when things that I've been reading, things that I've been listening to throughout the day when I've had chances, it's all about, well, the Warriors suffered a lot of injuries. What would it have been like if they hadn't had the injuries? And I get that. And they're trying to take away the joy of the Toronto Raptors and what they were able to accomplish. And it was a great series. Yes, there were injuries. Yes, it would have been a vastly different series, I believe, if Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson are 100%. But let's not forget about what great basketball Toronto gave us in this series and how they were able to win 3 straight on the road. That's unconscionable. 3 games that they won on the road away from their own place.
The game had 18.
It's amazing. I don't care who's hurt or who's not. That's an unreal feat.
I mean, just a heck of a basketball game. 18 lead changes, 9 ties. Neither team led by more than 9 at all during this whole entire game. And as you mentioned, Thompson tearing the ACL, he goes down. And at that point, Golden State has no business being in this game, Eric. None. 0. Zilch. You're playing with guys like Looney, who's about 30%. You're playing with Livingston. You're playing with Draymond Green. You're playing with who can't hit a shot from the outside to save his life at times. Well, for the most part. You're playing with Cook, who you need to rely on heavy minutes for and to be productive. And then, of course, you got Steph Curry, who, by the way, was really, really good for the most part in tonight's game. He had 21 points. He was 6 of 17 from the field, 3 of 11 from deep. But I mean, look, that's a whole huge load he had to take. Iguodala added 22 in his effort. So just to be in that game against a healthy Toronto team was amazing in itself. I mean, look, you lost Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant to just horrific, really worst-case scenario injuries, and you still give these guys a game.
Right. Well, Looney's not out there playing 100%. I mean, he's one of your best defenders. And you have to look at DeMarcus Cousins isn't playing at 100%. He's coming back from a major injury himself. So what they were able to do to still be in this series, to push it to 6 games, is pretty amazing. And I think that speaks to Steph Curry. You could tell late in their game, I mean, he just wasn't shooting as effectively. His percentages were down. He had been carrying a large load, trying to keep his team in the hunt despite the injuries and setbacks. So, and I think you also have to give a lot of credit to Steve Kerr when he was able to mash together.
Oh my gosh!
In light of uncertainty, night in and night out, and these significant injuries to his team, and that speaks a lot to what those two guys, especially, were able to do at Golden State. But Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry, 2 guys that have been all-stars at different times, but Kyle Lowry has been an unheralded guy. And the rest of that team, hardly anybody could name other players on that squad before these finals, before the playoffs. So it's impressive what Nick Nurse has been able to do, what Kawhi Leonard has been able to do to change that culture to win a championship.
Speaking of unheralded guys, how about this one?
To Lowry, swing left Van Vliet with 8 to shoot against Curry, who's now back in the game. Van Vliet circles on top with 4, launches a 3 over Cousins that hits, ties the game at 91. Makes the catch against Curry, launches the 3 over Curry, and buries it. Another tagger for Fred Van Vliet. The Toronto ball, Van Vliet, front court, 3:48 to go. He's all alone for 3, shoots and hits another one. Raptors take the lead.
He comes off the bench. He scores 22 points. He hits 5 threes off the bench. 3 of those come in the fourth quarter. 1 to tie it, 1 to give him a 1-point lead, and the other to give him a 3-point lead at 104-101. I mean, this guy was sick off the bench.
Yeah, this is a guy that went undrafted, made the last roster spot a few years ago, worked his way into being able to play some minutes, and then became an important role player off the bench. But then, even this playoffs, he was kind of in the doghouse early in the playoffs and wasn't really getting many minutes. Nick Nurse wasn't sure he could go to him. And then just a light switched with this guy. And he just became a beast off the bench. You look at Toronto, that their team as a whole. You had 4 guys that scored 20 points or more. 4. So it wasn't just one guy carrying it and a few other guys benefiting from all the attention that he got. There were a lot of guys playing significant roles in what Toronto was able to do last night to close it out. On the road.
On the road, but again, they had a healthy team. You're talking about a team that didn't have Thompson or Durant. One of them's the best player in the world. One of them's one of the most contributional starters, maybe underrated starters in the NBA. That's a huge loss. If Thompson plays, Warriors win that game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the dude scored 30 points through 3 quarters.
Exactly.
He was having a great game.
I'm not trying to take anything from Toronto because really, like you said, I mean, it's not like this. I mean, this game didn't cinch it. There was 2 other road wins that they got in Oracle that really, really helped them. And again, I mean, to be able to hold on for dear life when you knew Golden State was just, I mean, getting off the canvas, blood dripping off their face, sweat and exhausted. They continued to throw punches. This was a 15-round battle. And again, credit to Toronto and Nick Nurse for actually, in this game, unlike Game 5, not panicking. And obviously, Drake had a big game. You know, he played, he contributed a lot. Made some great plays.
He was doing some cool moves on the stage.
I'm so sick of that, man. I'm just sick of it.
Getting Jurassic Park all worked up.
Meanwhile, an instant after the game was really interesting. Brian Windhorst with the latest.
This is an unfortunate development. Masai watched the end of the game from the tunnel outside the Raptors locker room on television. Once the game was over, he came down the tunnel and wanted to go on the court to celebrate with his team. But because it was a trophy presentation situation and because it was the visiting team winning, there was new security procedures in place and new credentials required. Now, this is standard procedure in the NBA. Masai did not have that credential. The officer there who was part of an increased security presence around the court did not know who he was. And really the issue is the second contact. Masai and the officer made contact with the officer and then made a second contact with the officer where, according to the sheriff's sergeant, made contact with the deputy's face. So he is under investigation.
That's not good.
Made contact with the deputy's face. I don't know. That just sounds funny.
Okay, so they're saying he didn't show his badge, but there's a video that films him showing his badge. So someone help me out here.
Well, what's interesting is when you're watching all the post game trophy stuff, you don't know any of this had happened before.
No, not
Everything
a clue.
looks very normal.
Yeah.
So there are some eyewitness accounts that suggest that he was there and he was trying to get on the court and doing the right things, and there was maybe a little overactive cop that was being a little aggressive as to what was going on. But at the same time, if you don't have the right badge, I mean, we all recognize who Kawhi Leonard is. We all recognize who the players are because they're wearing jerseys. I mean, it's pretty obvious who they are. You probably everybody in the stands recognizes the coach and the coaching staff because they're on the sidelines. They're on the bench. You see them. But if you're an executive, not everybody's going to know who you are.
Okay, so here's the thing.
So if you don't have the right badge, you don't have the right credential, they're not just going to know,
it's still
that's
on
the
Oakland, Eric.
GM.
It's still
that
on
guy,
Oakland.
he's
Do
the
your homework.
president of operations.
You as a group, an Oakland police officer should say, okay, look, we need to know where everybody is. Okay, because you know that the executive is going to want to be up there to congratulate his team. And he should be. For the Oakland police officers to A, put their hands on a gentleman, and for really no good reason. And 2, when the video shows that he's showing his badge, and they're saying, well, it's not the correct badge, it's still the freaking GM.
Look at his it should have his title. I mean, you should know who he is. But at the same time, I mean, can you expect every security guy in that building to recognize every front office guy for the opposing team? That seems a little bit much to ask. So you have to have the right credentials. In those moments, you don't know what could happen with some crazy fan who's upset that his team just lost on his home court. And they're trying to get on the court and do stupid things. You have to be vigilant. You have to be aware of what's going on. And you have to be careful about who you let into these situations.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I do agree with that. So then the PR department for Toronto needs to understand the situation. Hey, there's a chance we're going to win this game. Oakland, what do you need from us? In case we win, we want our executives, our management to be on the court to celebrate this championship. What is our process of making sure that happens? Oh, yes, you need 2 badges, one during the game and then one after the game for the post-celebration. Great. I need badges for these following people.
Right. I totally agree. That the Toronto needs to be aware of what they need to ask for. Golden State needs to be aware of, look, this is our house, but there is absolutely a chance that we're going to lose this. And so there will be a trophy ceremony on our court. Their people will need to be a part of it. We need to make sure that the right people have the right credentials for the right situations. So I think that's kind of nutty if they just didn't have the right stuff.
By the way, really quickly, we're going to just step aside from NBA basketball. We got to get to this. Brian Phillips, who is the co-editor and writer at Recruiting Specialist, he has announced, and it says, breaking hoop news. Aggie Hoops team has received a verbal commitment from University of Virginia transfer Marco Anthony. He is a 6'4" guy.
3-star?
Yeah.
3-star.
6'4", 210 shooting guard. He'll have to sit out the 1920 season, but will have 2 years left to play at Utah State. Wow. That's good. He's a scorer.
Is he? Last year, he averaged 1.2 points.
Dude, why do you have to be that guy?
0.5 rebound. You said he's a scorer, and I'm like looking at his stats. 1.2 rebound, 1.2 points, 0.5 rebounds, 0.5 assists. So he didn't play a large role. I'm just trying to make that clear in what he did last year. Right, he did play in some games in 17-18 and in 18-19. Didn't play a significant role with what Virginia was doing, but he was on a team that won a national title. So that is significant. That's cool.
The thing is, though, is that if Tony Bennett's recruiting this guy, he's obviously got to have some skill. Virginia's no, joke around basketball
it's not a slouch
school.
program, no.
We're not talking about Burl here, what's it called? Burl Hill Community College.
I don't even know what that is. He scored 6 points against Pitt.
It's in Iowa.
Back on March 2nd. That was he scored 8 points in a game versus was that Morgan State? in 20 minutes of play. But those were his quote-unquote, I guess you could call it, significant games of this last season. Season before, in 2017, 2018, he scored 10 points against Louisville in a game on January 31st. But he didn't have any other double-digit games. So a very minor role, a bench player, didn't see a lot of time, didn't see very many opportunities with Virginia. He is transferring to Utah State, and he's a 6'4" guard, shooting guard. You'll have to redshirt or sit out this next year, and then we'll have 2 years left to play for Utah State.
That's good, though.
Yeah, I think that's good. Could be good. We'll see. I mean,
Wow.
certainly that.
Gee, Shannon Sharp or Max Kelly.
Well, look, I mean, you said, oh, he's a scorer.
He scored a lot in high school.
And I looked him up, and he hasn't really done much at Virginia. I just want to be totally transparent.
He's a scorer.
Maybe he had a good experience at high school.
You're going to
but
love
he's
him.
been on a national championship level team, and that is cool. That is going to pay dividends for Utah State. How he translates to what Utah State wants to do is still yet to be determined, but he'll have a full year to figure that out. So that's good news.
Your pessimism sometimes, Eric.
No, you announce it, and right away you say, oh, he's a scorer. Well,
he is.
He hasn't done a lot yet when he was at Virginia. So I just wanted to make clear we know who he is and what he's done. But hopefully with a fresh place and new surroundings, he gets that opportunity to be the type of player he was in high school.
Oh, well, yes, we do. All right, we got to take a break. Step aside, come back. Let's talk some U.S. Open. We'll update it. Tony Finau is on the verge of doing something he hasn't done in a little while. We'll talk about what that is. That's all coming up here on the Full Court Press with Eric France and Ajay Salveson on 106.9, 1390 AM. Where's the button? The Fan.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Is this little, wait, is this Paula or is this Janet?
Yeah, but what's her last name?
Paula Abdul.
Yeah, and what's the song called?
I don't know. Utah State just made it official. Welcome to the family. At Marco J. Anthony. Hashtag Aggies all the way.
Hey, Marco, if you're listening...
They're calling him a 6'6" guard.
He's a scorer.
Brian Phillips said he was 6'4".
Well, there's a difference. Really? Well, here's the thing. Marco, if you're listening to the Full Court Press right now on 106.9, 1390 AM, The Fan with Eric Franson and Ajay Salveson, will you follow me on Twitter?
That pretty much fills out the USU roster now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do they have one scholarship left, by the way?
I think they filled it with that Treasure Valley kid.
So he was a scholarship kid then? Okay. I wasn't sure. U.S. Open is on day 2, and our pick 6 involved the U.S. Open, Eric.
It does.
Who would have the higher finish?
Mm-hmm.
Brooks Koepka or Tiger Woods? And you took who?
I took Brooks Koepka and Justin Rose.
Oh, you did? Because the tweet that I'm looking at currently, right now, as I am looking at it, that you had posted onto our Twitter account at E. Franson, says that you took Tiger Woods.
I did take Tiger Woods.
Yeah, you did? How's that
It's
going?
in black and white.
How's that going for you?
Well, Tiger is even. He's at even par. Shot a 72 today.
Meanwhile, my boy, Brooks Koepka, so Tiger's tied for 35th. Brooks Koepka at just 4 under. He's 3 shots back of the lead, which is, by the way, being held by Justin Rose. And he is in 5th place. So you've got some ground to make up quickly.
We still have a couple days.
The cut right now is at +1 and the last one on that cut line is Andy Pope, who is tied for 53rd. That means that Tony Finau, who is currently shooting 4 over and is tied for 93rd, would miss the cut, which would be the first time he has done so since the PGA Championship in 2016. That's a heck of a run for the local golfer.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to miss the cut, which is too bad. Mike Weir, he's going to miss the cut. He's another guy. It's ties to the state of Utah. But Justin Rose, he had himself an incredible first day.
Again.
Today, not quite as good, but still, he is the leader. And with a couple other people kind of coming after him. So the conditions today weren't as favorable as they were yesterday, but Jim Furyk had himself a really good day today and making up a lot of ground. So it's a beautiful location. It's fun to watch at Pebble Beach. It's a $12.5 million purse. So can Brooks Koepka keep going after it? Ricky Fowler, also another big name, who is and Rory McIlroy. They're all in the same kind of pool right now. All of them are 4 under, tied for 4th. So it could be a really exciting couple of days. Sergio Garcia is another big name that people are familiar with. I already mentioned Jim Furyk. So there's some pretty good names that are still in the hunt here for what could happen at the U.S. Open down at Pebble Beach this weekend.
Yeah. I can't get into it, man. Unless Tiger's in this hunt, I'm not into it. I try. By the way, Jordan Spieth is tied for 28th right now, shooting 1 under. Adam Scott is at 3 under. Rory.
Is that Michael's brother?
Yeah. No, it's his cousin, actually.
Oh, it's his cousin.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's his cousin. Rory McIlroy is at 5 under, tied for 3rd. So McIlroy is doing really well.
Nice. I like the pronunciation. Was that your attempt at some accent? Or just a really bad attempt at trying to say his name?
Speaking of accent, did you see the latest from Captain Craig Smith? Do you want me to?
No, I do not want you to, but no, I did not. Neither did I see the tweet.
Well, unless you're gonna let me, I'm not gonna tell you what the tweet was. But I feel like I owe it to our listeners to give them the Captain Craig Smith tweet of the day.
No, it's okay to share it. I just don't know that they really appreciate it like you think they do.
What? Who's told you that?
We've received messages.
What? Yeah, you have. Oh man, this one's so good. Are you sure you don't want me to do it? I'll do it for you.
I really, if you read it normal, yes.
Okay. But can I still play the medieval music?
It's not medieval.
It is.
Where you can take.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why that's playing. Forgive me. Hold on. There we go. Hold on. It's coming. I just got to get to these stupid ads. Why does everything have to have an ad to it?
There's your music bed.
Dearest mother,
Oh, brother.
as I ponder on the Aggie heroes such as Estes, Carol, Green, and Moral, I can't help but believe the names of some of the current soldiers will one day be spoken with similar respect. Future legends now defend Fort Spectrum, sincerely, with love and regard. Captain Craig F. Smith.
Do you want to read that normal so I can understand what the heck you just said?
You know what I just said. Don't pretend like I didn't say it well.
I didn't understand anything you just said.
Yes, you did. Don't be dramatic.
Plus, I was looking at the pictures that Marco Anthony was sharing.
Why won't the guy follow me on Twitter? I'll try it again.
With pictures of himself in an Aggie uni wearing the number 10. Saying, my new home.
Yes! Now follow me on Twitter, buddy. Hit me up. So Marco Anthony will be joining Utah State via transfer. 6'6" guard is what I'm going to go with. If that's okay. Has
His ESPN profile says he's 6'4".
Jeez.
So
Who knows?
there's a little dispute about where those 2 inches. Who's got it right?
Played Sperling at Virginia, but again, any recruit of Tony Bennett has got to be somewhat of a decent basketball player. He is ineligible to play this upcoming season, but will be available for 2 years after.
Exciting news, but still, it's even if he didn't play a significant role last year or the year before. Here's a guy that was on a championship level team.
Oh, look at you backpedal.
I never changed my. This is what I've been consistently saying. If you're paying attention, is that here's a guy that's been on a championship level team in a big time conference, and has been a part of a great program. So he will be able to bring that to Utah State. And as I previously stated, so you'll remember, hopefully with the change of venue, a new place, new opportunities, he'll be able to shine and share his talents at Utah State, unlike he was able to do at Virginia.
He'll have to be a big part of that because Sam Merrill will be gone. Namish Keta most likely will be gone. So he'll have to be a big part of that. And I think here Craig Smith will find a place for him to have significant contribution for the team. So looking forward to that.
Hey, still talking basketball, Klay Thompson torn ACL and Kevin Durant blown Achilles. How much does that affect some of the money that was going to be spent in the offseason on those free agents, and then what it might mean for other free agents that because will a team be willing to sign either of these guys if they're not going to be available for a full year?
Well, I think we've already heard the Knicks are willing to put forth the money for Durant, even if he does sit out a year. That they're willing to say, you know what, it's Kevin Durant. And if we don't get him now, we'll never get him again. So this is now or never. So you get him, you give him the Supermax, and then you get him back next year, or the next season after this one. Or whatever that, 2021 season. I fully expect Klay to stay in Golden State. I think Klay loves Golden State. Golden State obviously loves Klay, as does Bob Myers.
But if you're Bob Myers, do you give him a max deal?
Yeah.
Because there's that risk that he might not be the guy that you thought you were going to be able to get.
I'd be more worried about a torn Achilles than a torn ACL. Yeah. Kobe Bryant wasn't the same after a torn Achilles. Players have recovered from torn ACLs, with the exception of Derrick Rose. God rest his soul. But Klay Thompson is as valuable as they come. Even if he's not playing, he has leadership, veteran experience where he can help out on the bench. And I don't really think that if Klay says, "Hey, coach, can I sit on the bench and maybe mentor a few of the young guys?" Quinn Cook could be one of them. Then I'm pretty sure Steve Kerr will say, "Yeah, please." He's valuable in so many ways, and yes, he will get the max from Golden State. They will give that to him.
All right, he can get a max. He just won't get a super max.
He can because he didn't make the All-NBA team.
Right. So
now the question is, Eric, Draymond Green, what do you do with him?
Well, he's not up until next year, right?
Maybe. But even so, you still got to pay your bench. And Draymond's going to be looking for money next year like no other.
Hang on. Looking it up, making sure.
I mean, I'm just saying it because, there has been issues with Draymond Green towards the team.
Draymond Green will be under contract next year. He's going to make $18.5 million.
The tradable asset.
I think that he will be a valuable player next year for them. Perhaps his most valuable season for them. Because even if Kevin Durant re-signs with Golden State, he won't be available next year. If Klay Thompson re-signs with Golden State, he won't be available next year. So it's going to be Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and a handful of who knows what else.
Yeah, and Jimmy Butler had just opted out of his $19.8 million contract to become an unrestricted free agent. Does Golden State think about him?
Probably not.
Even if it's a 2-year rental, even if it's for 2 years, look, we need you for 2 years or a year. You sign him for cheap, you let him go after Klay Thompson comes back.
I don't know. I don't really see that as a destination for him. I would think that L.A., I think even re-signing with Philadelphia, those seem to be more reasonable expectations of where he would go.
Well, according to Tim Reynolds, he says Miami. He says that Jimmy Butler has told people close to him in his confidence circle that if Miami wants to talk on or after June 30th, which is when free agency begins, then he's more than happy to listen to him.
Do you know Miami has the highest payroll?
Yeah. Is that amazing?
Well, Chris Bosh finally comes off the payroll this year. He won't be there, but they're paying a ton of money to guys you probably wouldn't expect. And they are the number one payroll in the league.
Yeah, Pat Riley's done a crappy job over there in the last
I don't think they've handled that very well at all.
Yeah, after they almost kind of went on this panic stress mode after LeBron left. And after Dwayne Wade took a 1-year hiatus from Miami and went to Chicago. I don't know what he was thinking, but he's ruined that payroll, the books over there. I don't know what you do.
So Hassan Whiteside, he has a player option for next year. Ryan Anderson has a team option. Those are your two highest paid players on that roster right now in Miami. But yeah, that's a team that's kind of messed up. I mean, they did make the play. I mean, they were right there in the Eastern Conference with a team fighting to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I just think it's teams like that who forfeit their right to contend in free agency because they made bad decisions financially. It's amazing to me that players still want to go there. But maybe they feel like they can take advantage of the system over there. That Pat Riley's so desperate after losing Dwayne Wade that he can get a big star like Jimmy Butler and that they'll overpay him. Because, by the way, as crazy as it sounds, you can overpay Jimmy Butler.
Yes, that is possible.
There's players that you can. You can't overpay Klay Thompson. You can't overpay Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, the notables, Durant. Irving you can overpay. Gordon Hayward has been overpaid. Rudy Gobert you could overpay. Donovan Mitchell you can't. And by the way, on June 24th, so in 10 days, those awards come out. And as we've already been talking to Dan Clayton earlier in the month, or at least last month, he says that if Rudy Gobert wins that Defensive Player of the Year award, which he's a leading candidate, guess what he gets this summer, or at least next summer? One of the two. Supermax.
Yeah, that would qualify him to be available for a Supermax deal.
So you want to talk about...
And do you give a Supermax deal to a defensive guy? I like Rudy Gobert. I like him a lot. I think he helps the team in a lot of different ways. But do you give a Supermax deal to a defensive guy? I think the Detroit Pistons found out the hard way. Be very careful about doing that with Ben Wallace. I think the Utah Jazz found that out a little bit the hard way when they were doing that with Andre Kirilenko. Do you do that again? Do you risk doing that, giving a Supermax to a defensive guy? When you need, in today's day and age, you need everybody on the court to score and be able to have an offensive game. I think Rudy has tried to work on his offensive game. He's become more of an offensive threat, but most of it is alley-oops and put-back dunks.
Yeah,
he's got to be able to develop a mid-range game to be an offensive threat.
I would agree with that. Absolutely. All right, we got to take a break. Come back. We'll talk some College World Series. That begins tomorrow. I love the College World Series. I've always been a huge fan of it. whether it was the Fresno Cinderella underdog baseball team in '09, or the favorites in Vanderbilt. Oregon State's obviously been one of those teams as well. But some new faces on there. We're going to talk about those teams and the experience of Omaha and predictions. Because, Eric, you know nothing about college baseball. So I will have to teach you the ropes.
They throw the ball, they hit the ball. They chase the ball.
There you go. Fetch dog. Eric Francis and Ajay Salveson, Full Court Press on 106.9 FM.
Talking the sports you care about. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
He's going all soft on us on a Friday.
Get through a night without you.
It's Chocolate
If I
Mamba.
had to live without you.
You're listening to Love in the Dark. 106.9 The Fan, 1390 AM.
Why am I here?
Cuddle with your loved one. How do you live without her?
I thought this was a sports talk show.
This is a great
Not
song.
Ajay's like love songs.
Oh, what is you're so negative today.
No.
Hey, Mark Anthony's a scorer. Oh, yeah, that's 1.3 points per game. Skip Bayless was better than him in high school. Hey, freaking, what's his bucket? Rudy Gobert could get the Supermax. I don't know. I'm not sure. You gotta pay him and then you gotta lose some guys. Oh. Okay, sorry. Jeez. All right. Eric France and Ajay Salveson here on the Full Court Press. Grateful to have you along, however, and wherever you are, as we are at the 4:48 time. We're going to be quick here on this segment, but we do want to go through it. College World Series, Eric, is in the house. Omaha. Michigan will play Texas Tech tomorrow at 12 p.m., while Florida State will be the nightcapper against Arkansas at 5 p.m. Those are both mountain times. Both on ESPN for day one of the College World Series. Everybody loves a romantic story in baseball. And this
Is that why you're playing the love music? Because you want a romantic story in baseball?
Eric, we really don't have a lot of time for your lame
I'm just trying
jokes.
to figure out what's going on over there between the years.
You're enjoying it. Just like everybody else that's listening is enjoying it. Just like they enjoyed my Captain Craig Smith accent. Don't make me break that out again.
So you got a Saturday doubleheader and you got a Sunday doubleheader.
Now, Florida State, Mike Martin has been coaching for 40 years at Florida State, and he is calling it quits after the season is over. The crazy part is they're in the College World Series, and they've been doing it. I mean, just the way they've been able to handle teams, and I cannot remember. Now my computer just froze. For heaven's sakes. Oh, come on. This is unacceptable. Oh, come on! All right, fine. We'll do it the hard way. So, Mike Martin has got his Florida State team in the College World Series. They beat LSU, is who it was. And did it in pretty dominating fashion, too, to be quite honest with you. I love romance in baseball, and this is it. They finished 41-21 in the ACC. That was third place. They won the Athens Regional. They won the Baton Rouge Super Regional, beating Florida Atlantic, who is a number 4 national seed, Georgia, and then the number 13 national seed LSU at LSU in their house. That's a team I can root for just based on their storyline. But then there's the underdogs. The Auburn Tigers are an underdog. They finished 38-26, sixth place in the SEC, but still got into it. Won the Atlanta Regional, and then won the Chapel Hill Super Regional. By the way, they beat North Carolina to do it, which was really impressive stuff. Texas Tech, by the way, Matt Wells has got so much pressure on him. Your college men's basketball team, they go and win, or they go and
they go to the championship
game. Texas Tech Raiders are going to the College World Series in baseball. And in football, you got to be able to live up to that.
Expectations should be high in Lubbock, Texas.
They finished 44-18. That's a number 8 national seed. They were the Big 12 regular season champs, won the Lubbock Regional, the Super Regional as well, beating Army, Dallas Baptist, and of course Oklahoma State in a classic 3-game series.
They're the lowest seed in this College World Series, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have the Fresno State Bulldogs of 09, where they were unranked, bottom of the totem pole. They beat North Carolina, they beat Oregon State, and then when they get to the championship in the College World Series, they get to face Georgia, starring Joshua Fields, at the time the best closer in the college baseball history, and Gordon Beckham, the all-star shortstop, who's right now at Chicago White Sox. So they face, so we don't have that classic Cinderella. But a Cinderella story to me means more than just being a mediocre baseball team and making your rise to the top, being hot at the right time. Mike Martin and what they're doing is a Cinderella story to me. Being unranked and still making it to the College World Series. Now, you're upon 8 of the best teams in the country right now, still standing. And the story has been all about Mike Martin, and Mike hates that. He's annoyed by it. He's been very vocal about that. But I think that makes everybody kind of fall in love who doesn't have a team in the College World Series is that one team who has that story that you're like, oh.
Well, you might as well, because there's, other than that, it's all blue blood programs, all power conference schools, Texas Tech versus Michigan, Arkansas versus Florida State, Vanderbilt versus Louisville, Mississippi State versus Auburn. And so there's no real outsider school that any underdogs can really get behind, I think. So I agree with you. You kind of have to find some other interesting stories, interesting angles where it's a guy's last stand. He's on his way out. Maybe that's worth, checking in and watching these games as they start to play out. So the first of the doubleheaders will be Saturday, starting at noon?
Yep.
On ESPN. And then the second doubleheader of the College World Series will take place on Sunday. And again, that'll be at noon on ESPN.
All right, we got to take a break. Come back. We'll wrap it up and call it a weekend. Eric Frantz and Ajay Salvesen on the Full Court Press. 1069, 1390 AM, The Fan.
The Aggies are number one here. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
It's Ajay Salvesen and Eric Frantz, and I want to play some romantic music to get us through the rest of the show. We have 1 minute, Eric.
Let me just say this. I know there's a lot of campers, basketball and football, a lot of high school kids on Utah State's campus over the next few days. Welcome to Logan. Hope everything goes well for you. Have fun, enjoy the moment, and listen to your coaches. They're going to have some great advice for you.
And listen to Eric Frantz and Ajay Salvesen. Maybe we could give you some tips on how to be a great basketball player. Well, I could.
Well,
Sorry,
I could.
Not Eric.
There was an Eric Frandsen who did great things at Utah State.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
But,
he was incredible.
That wasn't me, though. But maybe by proxy, because we share the same name, I might be able to share something cool.
Eric, give me one thing you're looking forward to in the weekend of sports.
Pebble Beach, U.S. Open. Rose has had a great start. Can he hang on? There's a couple of the guys that are coming after him. So how will that leaderboard change over the next couple of days? Can Tiger make a run at it? And can I win pick 6? Finally, I'm getting tired of buying you treats.
Okay, hey, I want chocolate the next time you do it.
I keep supplying you like good stuff, and you reject
the pepper
all the
jerky.
Things I give
the
to
pepper
you.
Jerky was not. No. Okay, I need you to actually care about my needs.
Why would I do that?
Okay, care about when I win.
I only want to care about winning.
Well, you obviously aren't doing good at
winning.
that. So.
Hashtag pick 6. Let's get it done.
By the way, I didn't know how many things we agreed on.
Yeah, we are the same on 4 of the 6. So it's going to come down to just 1 or 2 things to decide who wins and loses.
Good night, everybody.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe. Happy Father's Day.
Why would he?
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Congrats to the Toronto Raptors. Their first NBA title was a landmark achievement in many ways. The inventor of the game, Dr. James Naismith, Canadian, and now the entire country has embraced the Raptors. It was also remarkable because of the team they beat. Even with all the injuries, knocking off Golden State was not easy. The Warriors have an incredible franchise, a modern-day dynasty that reinvented the game. But when Klay Thompson went down last night, they didn't have enough in the tank. And then there's Kawhi Leonard. He didn't want to go to Toronto this year. He made the most of it and made a historic playoff run. Kawhi is now solidly in the argument for best player in the sport. He got a lot of help from the guys nobody expected to be here, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, and the one-time playoff GOAT, Kyle Lowry. It was a wild series. The Raptors are a fitting champ after an unpredictable and entertaining NBA Finals. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.